Normally I get it, I'm running a few minutes late from Turner. I haven't seen that one come in yet. So- There he is.
Hey, I got it.
On time.
Perry, I gotta call meeting to order. I'm a little later than I thought. Gotta go. Hey, talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye. God bless. Yeah. Oh, what, it is 1:30. Hey, how's everybody? That's it. Good afternoon. This is the Amherst County Service Authority Board meeting. It is September 5th, 2023. It's 1:30 p.m. The meeting is hereby called to order. Glad to see everybody today. Let's see, do we have everybody here? We're missing Mr.
Mr. Woods had notified us he may not be available. He's out of town.
Understand. All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, first item on the agenda is, let me get my agenda, excuse me. There we go. Second item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. The agenda is attached to the board, in the board package. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as it stands?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wade. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The agenda is approved. Next item, item 3 is citizen comments and concerns. Are there any? At this time, we'll open the floor up for citizen comments.
None had signed in.
All right, thank you. Seeing as none have signed in, we'll move on to the next item, and I don't see any citizens in the audience. Next item is item 4, the consent agenda, which consists of the approval of the minutes and the financial report. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
One item of note there on the minutes, you left me off, man.
No, really?
On the members present, just FYI. That's it. That's all I got. Other than that,
That will be
I'll make
corrected.
a motion to approve
As amended?
as amended.
All right, any discussion on that? All right, so as a clarification, this is a motion to approve the consent agenda with the amendment to the minutes as brought up by Mr. Wade.
That is correct.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, the informational report from staff.
All right, a few things to add to the information I provided you. Item number 1, I did receive communication from Region 3 of EPA on the cost share waiver request. They have approved it and I forwarded it on to headquarters for their approval.
Great.
They anticipate it being short and sweet, but also the federal government, who knows what's going on up there. So that's where that is
At least they're working.
They are working today, yes, I hope so. And then on the next item, just a little clarification on the DEQ consent order. We have received the draft consent order. It's pretty much an administrative consent order, but they are allowing us to apply $10,417.84 of the civil charge to the SEP, which is the Supplemental Environmental Project, which is our stream bank restoration. That was actually hard fought on behalf of the authority by the regional DEQ staff, so I appreciated all their assistance with that. It will go before, have to be published, publicly advertised for a 30-day comment period, and then it will become effect. We'll be submitting quarterly reports. Hopefully within a couple quarters that job will be accomplished and we can submit a final report, and then that consent order goes away. It's clear. So that's what I have to add to that item of information. On the Gateway project, I did report that I received the data from the Mary Moore subdivision as part of the planning efforts. In have since had a chance to review that data. There's 69 homes in that subdivision. Average age of the septic systems is 40 years. There's been a 10% failure. There's 7 of those units have failed over this time frame. Most of those failures occurred in the 90s, with two repairs being made one being in 2016, one in 2019. So I think next step is to make sure that we can serve that area. I think mostly by gravity, if not what we have to do to serve that area in the future as the failures continue, and put this into our extension of sanitary sewer service projects.
Mr. Castillo, I'm sorry, I lost the bubble on that. Which neighborhood is this again?
This is the Marymore subdivision, which is adjacent to the Gateway project.
Okay, adjacent to the gateway. Thank you.
And that was one of the things I was looking at to make sure, because there was discussion early on with the Gateway project that may be an area of concern.
Oh, yeah.
And the health department said, yes, there is area of concerns, particularly as things are aging. I was surprised that most of the issues occurred back in the early mid-90s, of the ones that have happened. So we need to be on the lookout for that to be occurring in the future. As long as it stays dry, we're good, but I think on that hilltop, eventually it will fail. Let's see. A couple other items. The construction at Littleton Lane Tank, tank maintenance there, they're starting on the interior. That started this week. There's equipment there, big sandblasters and all that fun stuff. I did have conversation actually today with Sam Hale of DEQ regarding the Seminole Plaza, to see where we are with possibly getting funding for that. That's not his bailiwick, but Sam and I have worked together over the years. He's in charge of permit inspections and all of that. He's been in that Roanoke office for a long time and has a lot of background, and he has serious concerns about that area. Most of the time when there are issues, it doesn't enter state water, so he can't become involved. It's only when it's in the lower sections that it has happened. But they are in support of whatever we can do to put that together, some sort of public-private. That's what I was trying to explain to him we were trying to do, and he thought that was a very good way to get that project moving forward. Let's see, then we're bring you up to speed on some staffing changes, staffing updates we have. We have an opening for a water operator to replace Dale Fulcher from his retirement. We have a recent vacancy as water operator trainee. We have a senior utility maintenance technician with Wesley's retirement, which came before you last month. We had a utility maintenance technician resign this past week. And then a senior office technician is retiring at the end of November. And we're making plans to take care of those replacements. We're probably going to have to go do more advertising from our normal areas, looking at Indeed and some of these other venues to bring people in. Because coming up with licensed operators is turn from being at the water jam. It's like finding the needle in the haystack. I was in a meeting earlier where they were discussing the passing rates for Deeport water and wastewater operator license from January 22 to the end of December 22. For Class 4 wastewater operators, 20% pass rate. Class 4 water operators is 46%, but if you go up to Class 1, it's 18%. Target is 50 to 60%. There's a task force working within DEPOR that a number of groups I'm involved with are participants in that. our own Amherst County's, Mr. Tom Forrest serves on that board for DPOR, and he's on that task force. So there's a lot of effort being made throughout the state to combat this issue. And the issue really started when DPOR chose to go with a national program that allowed reciprocity throughout the nation of those, I think it's 40-some states that were participating in the program. But in doing that, it went from an open book class exam to a closed book exam. And that's where things went south. And trying to come up with the actual appropriate training materials so that we can prepare our people to take the exams and pass them has been the fuzzy crystal ball right now. And we've got there's a very good team through VAMWA and the Drinking Water Association, and I serve on that committee, working to get all the information together so we can become much more successful.
Because when you're doing this in real life, you never refer to any documentation or materials to.
Google, Siri, what do I need to do? So that's been a real frustration, but also on behalf of DPOR and the utilities itself, we do not want to dumb down the exam. We want our people to be qualified. So it's a fine line we're working our way through with that.
It is a fine line because, from my understanding, is that the third-party testing agency gets paid per test, so they are motivated to fail people. And
Yeah.
it's just going a little bit too far. All right.
It has gone a lot too far. So those are the additional pieces of information I have in my report to you. Are there any other questions on any other particular items that I can help with?
Any questions from the board? I'd just make a comment that's awfully nice seeing vertical construction at the Madison Heights Town Center. And I think that's what I'm seeing anyway. That's great. Hopefully they'll get their VDOT entrance approved shortly.
Whenever they have that, we'll be working with the contractor, because we have to sub that kind of work out, dealing with the pavement and the concrete underneath that.
And I really love this. I think that's gonna be great.
There's a slight modification to that picture. The letter A will be shifted onto the opposite side of the railing, facing Lowe's more, and then the Amherst Perfect Slice of Virginia will be facing 29. That is a recommendation. That is a request of the committee, the beautification committee, and we're trying to keep everybody happy.
Okay. No other questions? All right. We will move forward then. Next item, we'll move into action items. Mr. Castillo, you want to explain item A, ACSA 2023 Series A bond anticipation note?
Okay, this comes from when you as a board put the James River raw water intake project on on the back burner. We went and met with our financial advisor and our bond counsel, and their recommendation, and they have been in communication with the banks, and everybody's happy with this, is for the board of directors to approve the resolution approving the modification of our financing agreement, where it previously had referred to the actual project. It allows us to do other water projects. A few suggestions are in there, is improvements, expansion of the water treatment plant if that's necessary, the Williams Run sewer pumping station, which is on our projected list, as well as maybe doing a water tank. As you are so gracious to allow, we need to do some, in our way, we need to do some real master planning. And I do not want to recommend spending this money until we've accomplished that. So we're doing it more strategically and prudent. So this allows us to do what we need to do for the community.
Okay, so just so that we're clear, the resolution number 2023-2 23-A-0010-R is a resolution to modify the bond agreement to enable those proceeds to be used
Yes,
other than was specifically defined.
correct.
And this has been put together by bond counsel, I guess, so it,
That is correct. Bond counsel drafted this for us.
Okay.
In communication with the bank's counsel, so all parties have agreed to this document.
I want to be very clear that this is not an authorization to make the expenditure. It's just a clarification on what is allowed to be expended.
What is allowed for this funding to be spent upon.
Okay. And so, of course, you have the interim, coming up next, we've got the advertisement, the stream bank restoration. I see that is listed in the resolution as a possible source of funds. Is that not, did I misread something?
I believe you're misreading that. If you go to the modification agreement, page 1, it's on page 27 of your package. Item number 2, you're amended to, that the proceeds of Series A note, which is a $7.5 million note, can be utilized, may include construction of additional water storage tank, upgrading, increasing the capacity.
Hold on, I lost you. What page number?
Page 27.
Oh, 27, all right. Number 2, yeah.
Number 2, additional water storage tank, upgrading and increasing the capacity of the authority's water treatment plant, upgrading the authority's Williams Run sewer pump station, and other capital improvements to the authority's systems. That's the catch-all. It should have been in there.
The second number 2.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
First number 2 was recital. My apologies. It's titled Amendment to Loan Document.
Okay. Sorry, but just trying to make sure that I had a clear understanding. Maybe I'm thick. Do you all have any questions or thoughts on this matter? Any concerns? All right. Thank you for the clarification. Is there a motion, is there a motion to pass the resolution?
So moved.
All right. That's a motion to pass, I've got to actually read the thing, excuse me. The motion is that the Amherst County Service Authority Board of Directors located in Amherst County, Virginia, does hereby authorize the board chair to sign this resolution 2023-A- Is this a typo there? 0010R?
0010R.
That this resolution to 2023-A-0010R shall be in force and effect upon adoption, adopted this third day of October 2023. That is the motion. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Correct one.
I read it as the correct way.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yep. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And Mr. Castillo, make sure that, that in our notes there, that first call out is correct.
Got it.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item B, the award for the James River Stream Bank Restoration Project.
Yes, sir. Included in your package is the handwritten bid tabulation. I was giving Mr. Wilson a hard time saying he didn't win the bid this time. As many engineering firms have been the low bidders on projects. I actually met with Stonewall Bridge Group on the job site. They were excited about the project, and I think they've got a pretty good grasp on it. I don't know why they're as low as they are. I do not have a formal recommendation from our engineers, so my request is that you make the motion that the board authorize the executive director to execute a contract to the successful bidder based on the formal recommendation of the consulting engineer. I don't see where there's gonna be any issues with this. I've actually had him send me all the bids. I've read through them. They're all straightforward. The only one that, would be an issue would be, Mid-State, is they did not acknowledge the second addendum. But they were not the low bidder either.
So, under that same line of thinking, so under Stonewall, under acknowledge addendums, you've got X's instead of checks.
They acknowledged them.
They did acknowledge.
They acknowledged them, yes. The blank is the
What-
non-acknowledgement.
What concerns me is the engineer's estimate was $2 million. And then these bids were kind of either really low or close in line with it. Does Stonewall understand what the scope of the project is?
Yes, they do. I met with them, walked them from one end to the other. They feel that they can put the matting down that's required, and then bring in the large riprap and actually stack it along the bank.
Oh, well.
The actual construction estimate for construction alone from 2022 was 1.67 million. We brought it up to 2 million when you threw the engineering fees and project administration cost to it.
Yeah, it just seems, it's very odd to me that the bids come in much lower than an engineer's estimate.
Well, 3 out of the 5 were
Are fairly
relatively
close.
in the ballpark.
Yeah, they're fairly.
You
I'm
know.
not sure I've ever seen that, to tell you the truth, but,
And I have not either, Mr. Martin. This is a new one to me, an enjoyable one, but still a new one.
yeah, I mean, whoever you guys decide to go with, I would just make sure that you and the engineers meet with them to make sure they are very clear on what the scope of the project entails.
The good news is that all of the bids received are within budget.
Sure, yeah.
So what would be yeah, that is good news. I'm happy to see this. Thank you for bringing it to our attention, Mr. Castillo. Would the appropriate motion be to authorize?
I'm sorry to speak out of turn. Please, can you see page 22 on your agenda packet?
Yes.
Item number 2.
Oh, okay. All right, so there they are. Great, thank you. Is there a reason why we didn't say the lowest successful bidder?
At the time, there wasn't an evaluation by the engineer, and so we're just asking for you to approve
Yes.
the recommendation of the engineer once he's had a chance to evaluate, and be certain that all parties are clear as you spoke.
Okay. I would feel a little bit, this is semantics, but I'd feel a little more comfortable saying the lowest successful bidder, therefore we're in compliance with the procurement code, with the acknowledgement that the engineer is going to determine who the lowest successful bidder is. It may or may not be Stonewall. Okay. All right, so I'll read this. Is there a motion that the ASCA board authorize the CSA's executive director to execute a contract award to the lowest successful bidder based on the recommendation of the ASCA's engineering consultant?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wade. Is there a second? We don't need that, excuse me. Is there any discussion on this?
Well, I just want to make sure that in saying lowest successful bidder, if it's found out that the lowest bidder did not understand the scope of the project or cannot deliver the scope of the project, then that's not a successful bidder.
They're not a successful bidder.
That's my understanding of successful.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
We all want what's right.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, item C is the November board meeting. Are you recommending that we cancel the November board meeting?
This building will be closed. It's election day, and it's a holiday from my understanding.
Any pressing needs or reasons or compelling reasons to have a meeting?
Not at this time, but I would like to suggest, based on my schedule for bringing the strategic plan to you for your information and review and input, that maybe the second, when the Board of Supervisors are normally having their second meeting, that we have a planning meeting at that time, if that would be agreeable.
I don't,
Are you guys going to cancel that one too?
a Thanksgiving week?
I'm gonna, we've had discussion about
That's
that
the week
meeting,
of
so
Thanksgiving,
that's
though,
what I
right?
was saying, it's the week of Thanksgiving is all I wanted to let you know.
Yeah, we may reevaluate that one. Are you all meeting on the second? Is the Board of Supervisors meeting in November that you all know of?
Well, we haven't really discussed it, but I mean, that second one, I'm probably, will be out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, let's reevaluate that one, but,
If you as a board can give me some dates within the middle of November that works for you to get together, so I would like to have a planning session with you.
it may be most convenient for you to send out, or you or Richard, send out a doodle poll to us that we could fill in with some applicable times. Then, that way you give us an idea of how much time to schedule, and we can respond to that.
Okay, that's fine.
Any thoughts on council meeting? We can make this a motion, or it could be done by consensus, I would think. By consensus, do you all wish to cancel the
I'm
Thursday
fine
meeting?
with canceling.
Round of heads, all right, by consensus, we agree to the canceling the November meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, item 7, any citizen concerns? I don't think I've seen anybody walk in.
No, sir.
All right, hearing none, we'll move forward. Matters from members of the Board of Directors.
Aaron, I have nothing.
So, we got a call up at AFD from the Job Corps, something about their water lines needing to be flushed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something the Service Authority can assist them with?
We've
or-
offered.
Okay, very good.
We actually met with the Job Corps director, location director, and his maintenance contractor about 2 months ago,
Okay,
and shared with them all kinds of information about their water distribution system, their wastewater treatment plant. They are going to be under consent order for that, and have to do some major expansion, operations, or some suggested operations that they could look at doing, because they have a contract operator. So we've offered to help them in any way we can. We also spoke with them last week, requesting that when they go playing with their hydrants, that they at least contact us prior, because it stirred up our distribution main and caused some serious issues that we had to then respond to.
so you've reached out to them, that's good. Yep.
Cause some serious issues. You mean sediment disruption or pipe breaks?
Discolored water.
Got it, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one final thing before we adjourn. I just wanted to follow up on an email that I'd sent to the board with regards to a pending legal matter that was heard in the General District Court this morning at 10 o'clock. It was a warrant and debt claim against the authority for $1,300. We were successful in having that dismissed by the General District Court judge, so I just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
Thank you.
Very good.
And Richard has pointed out something that I need to definitely make you aware of in the report. Information report, item number 9, dealing with the Cookout Restaurant Development Project. We had a leaking 3/4-inch service line in front of Hardee's. Water was coming up. Everyone was yelling and screaming about it. And we determined that it's just a few few feet from where we would have to put a 2-inch line to serve the cookout. So we combined those issues, did a 8 PM, September 14th, start on the project, did excavation, did lane shutdown and all those good things, did some really good traffic control. We had a sheriff's deputy who stayed with us through the whole project. He yelled and screamed at a number of people who could not understand that these cones meant people were working around them.
Idiots.
So it was a great team effort. It was fairly short notice because we had to move things along, but by doing that, we were one and done on getting things serviced there. So it was, we had English construction, we had a lot of people involved. We did learn our supplier for the 2-inch service line was the boring contractor. He provided us the materials, but he was not able to get the necessary inserts for the pipe. And he provided us with IPS pipe instead of CTS, iron pipe size versus copper tubing size. And those two inserts did not want to play nice together. So actually Core and Main at 3:30 in the morning, they came out of bed and went to their shop and opened it up for us to get the materials we needed to get the repairs made and get customers back in service. We were about an hour and a half behind schedule through the whole because of that issue. But other than that, everything moved along very smoothly. Teams worked well together.
Nice solution, nicely done, and a thank you specifically to, our thank you specifically to the Amherst County Sheriff's Department.
And, you know, it was the officer on duty was Blake Hudson. So if you see him running around, thank him on behalf of the authority. I did personally, but it was a good job. He worked hard to keep our crew safe.
Great, excellent, thank you. And thanks for bringing that to our attention. Any other matters?
Anything else I screwed up? Thank you.
Okay, next meeting is in December, the first Tuesday in December. Until then, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Mark, I didn't get that email.
I didn't either.